Hey guys, how's it going? If you guys are currently in the process of buying a home, one of the things that trips up most homeowners is the due diligence process. In this process, it can be extremely tedious and you're going through so much paperwork. It could be like reading a 200 to 300 page book, all on one particular property. You have title over here, you have escrow, you have your lender, you have your real estate agent, you have your physical inspectors, your appraisers. You have so many different people that are working towards the ultimate goal of transferring home ownership to you as a homeowner. However, 9 out of 10 home buyers do not understand this process well enough. And sometimes they get so frustrated during escrow that things boil up. They let little things get to them during the negotiation process that when they're really close to closing the deal, they fold everything, they cancel everything, and they want to stop it because they're so frustrated with the process. So my goal is to educate you guys through the third phase of buying a home, which is the due diligence process. So I'm going to go through and talk to you guys a little bit more about the process itself, and what you really need to be paying attention to. So let's get right into it. I'm going to share my screen with you guys here. So bear with me as we get into it. Step 3, due diligence period. Let me move my little head over here. All right, guys. So in the due diligence period, really what you're doing is you want to make sure that there's no legalities or legal issues that are going to arise while you become a homeowner. Also, you want to physically inspect the property, make sure that there's no issues, ongoing issues, or hidden issues that need to be addressed before buying. So I'm going to just do a quick high-level overview of all the things we're going to talk about, and then I'll dig into some of the specifics on each one and what you need to pay attention to. So during this process of the due diligence period, usually you have 30 days. Sometimes it could be less. If you guys want to know a little bit about, or if you guys want to know how to make the strongest offer possible on your dream home, go back to our YouTube channel, Father's Plan Realty, and take a look at step 2, in which I cover making strong offers. So we got our physical inspection. We have our seller reports. We have title review, appraisal, securing home insurance, and securing the home warranty. Now, these typically happen in that order, but they don't have to. So let's just dig right into it. Physical inspection. Okay. So a physical inspection is usually the first thing that you'll do once you get into escrow on a home. The price can range $300 to $500. I put $400 just as kind of a general ballpark cost of what it takes to secure a physical inspection. In the contract, the California Association contract, they usually give you about 17 days or 2 weeks to complete. This is what I would recommend, is doing this right away within the first few days after accepted contract. A physical inspector will highlight potential home issues recommended to fix. And I'm telling you guys, they will highlight everything. You might get a report back and be completely overwhelmed because you see 20 or 30 things that need to be addressed. And you might, don't worry, you guys might be thinking, man, am I buying a lemon? That's not the case. That's typical with most homes. So understand that you probably will get a report back with even the littlest of things highlighted. We can review that with your realtor and talk about what are the more serious items that you'd like the seller to fix for you, if possible. Now, on that note, the seller is not obligated to conduct repairs for you. I repeat, seller is not obligated. Okay, in the contract, the property is sold in as-is condition, and it's the buyer's job to do their inspections and request any type of modifications, price reductions, repairs along the way. Now, a seller can accept the request for repairs and do them before close of escrow. When you find out your repairs, or when a seller finds out the repairs, more than likely those are items that are going to be addressed for any future buyer coming through the door. So a lot of times they do want to be sensible in how they conduct the repairs. Another option is the seller can offer a purchase discount, or what we call credit, for those repairs. So if there's, let's say, like a little bit of roof damage or leaks or whatnot, the seller can credit back $1,000 for repairing that at the close of escrow. So you basically get reimbursed that. Or a seller can completely deny your request for repairs. Very important to understand this because nothing is guaranteed as far as fixing the home when you go there. So just understand that, in this process, a lot of times buyers get mad because sellers don't fix certain things, and it may throw them for a loop when in reality they're within their legal rights. So know that when you're making your offer in the first place too. Okay. So that's the physical inspection. Next, you're going to get some seller reports. Usually they're supplied to you from the selling agent within 7 days or so. Part of this is the transfer disclosure statement. So this is everything that the homeowner is aware of is wrong with the property. They highlight everything in this report. And if you have a condo that you're looking at, there's homeowner association documents, or we call CC&Rs. It's basically a rule book on how you have to maintain the quality of your home, the colors that you can or can't paint, just rules to keep consistency if you do have a condo. I mean, the last thing you want is everyone painting their condo their own unique color, and you have one big building that has 4 different colored paint jobs on it. So homeowners, so anything that has HOA fees, they typically have a CC&R, which is a rule book more or less. So those are typically long, 200 pages. So you have to go through them and see if this is actually the property that makes sense for you, and you're okay with those rules in that particular situation. Another aspect of the due diligence process is the appraisal. This comes a little bit later. I'd recommend doing this after your request for repairs. Usually takes about 2 weeks to complete. The lender is the one who's responsible for getting the ball rolling on this. You want to make sure that you schedule out an appointment with an appraiser fairly quickly. Sometimes it could be a couple days before they're able to get out and view the property. And it takes another couple days to get a report back. So getting on the ball with this in the early part of escrow is very important. So what happens with an appraiser is a lender sends a person to ensure the value of the home is on target with your offer price. Typically the fee's around $600. It could be plus or minus 200. A lot of times it comes out of pocket, so you do have to carry a check with you and pay the appraiser. But sometimes it could be included in your closing documents. You want to check with your lender and make sure you clarify that so you understand. Now let's talk about a couple questions here. If the property does not appraise at value of the purchase price, the buyer is responsible for coming up with the difference. What does that mean? Let me give you an example. So let's say you have a $550,000 purchase price. You make an offer on a home for $550,000, but the appraiser comes back and he says, you know what, this home's not worth $550,000. I'm looking at comparable properties in the area, and I'm going to say that this home's worth $500,000. First of all, your real estate agent should know that, and they should understand that process before you even make your offer. If they didn't, I would partially blame them. Again, that's why you can work with us at Father's Plan Realty. I have 10 years experience in the business. My mother's has 30 plus years of experience as a real estate broker. But in a sense, the borrower is going to need to come out with $50,000 out of pocket to buy the home. Now, you guys might be a little worried, like, oh man, that's crazy. Like, do I lose my money? What if I don't have $50,000? Well, there's 2 options here. You can request a price reduction from the seller. So you can tell, hey, look, seller, your home's not worth $550,000. We just got an appraisal. It's worth $500,000. So you can, you call trade. So you do a retrade and you do a purchase price of $500,000. It's up to the seller if they want to accept it or not. Sometimes sellers aren't really, they don't budge with their pricing, even though, now that we're in a global pandemic, things are going to change. But nonetheless, you can request a price reduction, or you can cancel the contract because it did not appraise. So there is a contingency in the purchase agreement that I mentioned earlier. You'll learn that in step 2. In which if it does not appraise, you can back out of the contract because in a sense you didn't have the money, or whatever the reason may be. Obviously you do not want to overpay for a property. So that's the appraisal process. Next is home insurance. So this is required by law, and it protects protects homeowners from injury and liability of others should an accident occur on a property. Kind of like business insurance, you know, if you go to movie theaters and you slip on butter from popcorn or whatever, you know, the movie theater has insurance to protect themselves with issues like that. So home insurance is the same idea. Usually you'll have to pay an annual premium. So you might have to pay 6 to 12 months of monthly payments, which could be like 100 or 200 bucks a month. So you might have to pay an extra 1,000 or 2,000 out of pocket because you are buying the home. That is typical. So if you feel a little sketched out about that, that is a normal aspect when it comes to home insurance. And then your monthly payments are tacked on your monthly mortgage as well. Title review and insurance. So title insurance is also required by law, and it protects the buyers and lenders against problems that arise when the ownership of a home is transferred from seller to buyer. So an example of this, you know, a title issue would be a mechanic's lien. So let's say that homeowner that's selling their home had work done on their home and they didn't pay a contractor 20 grand. For whatever reason, they just didn't pay him. So that contractor could put a lien on a home, which is basically like a loan on the home for 20 grand. So basically what happens is upon sale, the title agent will go through in detail and say, hey, look, you know, this needs to be paid off from the seller before we can actually clear this and give you clear title, which means there's no issues, nothing clouding title. I'm going to get a title agent on board and we'll do an interview so they can go into more detail about that. But just know, in a sense, that's basically what title insurance is. The last thing that you'll want to consider in the due diligence period is a home warranty. A little different from home insurance. Home warranty is optional coverage that ensures replacement or maintenance on higher ticket items within the home. So it could be your refrigerator, it could be an AC, it could be you know, garbage disposal, stoves, anything that you want to put within that home warranty. It's a different service altogether. It's another person that you're going to have to go through. But that is something that you'll want to consider when you are moving in your home. So really that's it, guys. Those are the elements of your due diligence period. I try to make it as simple as possible for you guys. I try to line it up in the timeline that I believe it does happen, although it could change. But now you guys know, now you're aware of the bigger picture of all the different negotiating aspects, who has the power to do what. You know, in this time frame, things can get very frustrating and confusing. So it's important that you kind of understand the bigger picture and where you're at in that process, so you don't lose sight of becoming a homeowner and taking advantage of all those homeownership benefits. If you have any questions, reach out to me. If you guys are ready to buy a home or get a loan, just shoot me a direct message. I'm happy to help you. Again, I'm Eric Loy with Father's Plan Realty, and I hope you guys have a good day.